'Tis the Season, a mixed media Christmas card. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel and visit me at my blog at www.creativekatie.wordpress.com. So I'm using a Strathmore watercolor card, and I am taping it to a foam board. And I've marked the top, I marked where the fold is. After doing a couple of these, I forgot where the fold was, and I had to take the tape off. So I'm just thoroughly wetting the card, the watercolor card, and I'm using my Inktense blocks in 3 shades. I think this is violet, and I use a teal as well as a purple. I've done this with other colors, so the colors are really up to you. You could use your Neocolor tubes, you could use your watercolors, you could use acrylic paints for this as well. I've done that. And your watercolor pencils as well. So you're not limited just to your Inktense blocks if you don't have them. I just happen to have them right out beside me because I was using them for another project. Instead of scribbling on them, I like to get them thoroughly wet and drip onto the page. That's just a personal preference. Now that it's very wet, and you can see how wet it is, I am sprinkling sea salt onto the wet spots. And this is going to give it some texture and add an element of some pattern and stuff. So after it's dry, and I do use my heat tool to dry it, I'm just rubbing off the sea salt gently to see, and just making sure that it's dry. And you can see the texture and the difference that it's made. This is my favorite Hero Arts old script letter writing. And I'm just going to take some of my metallic Artist Loft paint. Well, I'm cleaning up first. And I'm applying it with a makeup sponge. Now, I applied it a little too generously, as you'll see, because I end up with a blob here, but I'm not too worried about it. You can see on the bottom it's a little darker. So one of my favorite uses for this stamp is just adding to the background. And I'm cleaning my stamp, spraying it with some water that has dish detergent in it, and scrubbing it with a toothbrush right away to get that acrylic paint out of the stamp. That's really important to do. So just making sure that this is dry. And what you see there are 3 hanging balls. This is from a Penny Black clear stamp set. And I'm applying Versamark, and I'm putting that one in the middle and having marked where it is, putting the 2 on the side. You could do the one in the middle, put the powder on, and then put the powder on, do the other 2 on the other side when you can see where it is. Quite often you can't see where the Versamark is, and especially with all the texture that's on this page. So I'm pouring on my white embossing powder, and yes, there's little bits of paper and grunge in there. That is due to an accident that I've had with my embossing powder. I'm applying it again. It didn't seem to cover in some areas, so I'm just adding more. And to avoid another accident, I'm putting it right into the container ASAP. Need I say more? So I'm using the heat tool, and I find, and I've heard, that the Ranger heat tool really isn't the best for embossing. It takes a little time to get it all warmed up, but it does do the job. the embossing heat tools, definitely. So if you were someone who does a lot of embossing, I would get a different kind of heat tool. I'm noticing right in the corner there some of the script with the metallic paint has caught some of the embossing powder, and so now it's white. But again, it's not a problem. Something I would pay attention to the next time, but it didn't wreck the card. So there's my card, and I'm getting out some of my sentiment stamps, actually some of my Yvonne's sentiment stamps. And I'm putting it right over top of the area where I kind of made a mistake, where it's a little bit too purpley, the script stamp. Applying the embossing powder again, using a brush to get it off wherever I don't want it, like in the script. And I'm sorry that's off screen. And the powder goes back in the jar with the lid on, so to avoid any accidents. I decide that I'm going to put a sentiment inside. And again, using some of Yvonne's stamps that have spent doing a sleepover with me. And I'm going to use some Recollections stamps. This is a purple that I had. Brushing off anything that isn't where I don't want it to be. And back in the container. You can't really tell that this is purple on camera, but it is. There's my card. There's another card that I did in the similar colors, another one just using my homemade sprays in the background and getting a darker look. Then I decide I'm going to use my distress ink and I'm going to go around with the blending tool just to add that little bit of color. I wasn't sure that I really liked it, but it's done. There's a close-up and you can see the lovely texture and the pattern that the salt and the stamp. Be sure to visit my blog. There'll be different cards on my blog. Thank you so much for watching. There'll be another card video coming soon, so be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and you'll get a notification saying it's here. Thanks for watching. Bye.